I too am a historian, and so I wanted to pay tribute to some people who have been important, I think, to this organization. As I was preparing my remarks tonight, I started thinking about, I just talked to Marty Brammer, and she said she came on board with Dawn in 2000. I think that's when she asked me to help raise some money for Dawn. And so the first person I went to was Louise Noun, because she was always good for money when everybody needed something. She supported women's issues so much. And she looked at me and she said, "You need to quit coming to me for the first dollar and come to me for the last dollar." She said, "It's about time that you went out and found other people and younger people and more involved people, because I'm not always going to be around." And so she really very quickly put me in my place. So I went back, and Tom and Sally Peterson, Lieutenant Governor Peterson, and I had just had breakfast with Warren Buffett a few weeks before in Omaha. And he and his family have always been very much involved in women's reproductive health. So I wrote Mr. Buffett a letter. I knew that he had a foundation, and I decided not to ask for a lot of money. So I asked him for $100 to match every person I could get $100 for. And so he sent me a check for $1,000. And I was thinking today that life sometimes comes around in full circle. And so I think thinking about Louise and thinking about Warren Buffett and his family's contribution is really important as we talk about these issues tonight, because there are a lot of people who come before us in these kinds of things. You know, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a teacher, and so questions are really important to me. And the question posed to me tonight to consider is, why should we support women who are running for office? And I would like to add to that question in my remarks, why is it important that Iowa elect women at all levels, at the school board level, at the city council level, at the county board of supervisor level, certainly at the legislative level, also at the congressional level, and at the governor's level. Also for any of the statewide offices as well. Recently I attended a gathering to talk about a book, which I hope you'll all pick up at some point. It's called Womenomics, written by Katty Kay and Claire Shipman. Claire works for Good Morning America, and Katty Kay works for BBC. And they were in this gathering to discuss this new book called Womenomics. The data that they gathered shows that women have more economic power than we think in this country. Women earn 57% of the bachelor's degrees in the United States. Nearly half of the workforce is female. Women are in management now at 46%. Nearly half of all share owners in the country are women. As consumers, we buy about 83% of all consumer purchases. We now buy more cars than men, and we buy about half of the computers. A 19-year survey of Fortune 500 companies shows that companies with the best records of promoting women outperform the competition. And USC professor Judy Rosen has found women encourage participation, share power and information, enhance other people's self-worth, and get others excited about their work. These economic data and the fact that Iowa is not electing a significant amount of women to offices at all levels suggests that Iowa, like these status quo companies, is not maximizing its potential as a state. Knowing this, it seems that we need to think strategically, both long-term and short-term, to figure out how to change that. One of the things the last presidential election taught me was that there's a generation of women younger than I, and also many people in this room, who didn't and don't experience my generation's angst about electing a first woman. They assume women have the right to run for office and to hold office. And they're more apt to vote for the best candidate, and they're less likely to affiliate with a party, a political party. I also think that they are not necessarily single-issue voters. Therefore, I think we have to go about attracting women voters and women candidates a little differently. Long-term, I think we need to have a bench, a large pool of women to draw from who might be good candidates and good policymakers. This is what Marie Wilson had in mind when she created the White House Project at the national level. We need to start identifying and recruiting women to run for elective offices of all ages and from all parts of the state, especially those people who are now serving or could serve as mayors, especially in small towns, county boards of supervisors, and we also need to look for people like those people who have administrative experience. We need to be looking for women who are leaders in education and business as potential candidates, and leaders, again, with administrative experience in nonprofits. We need to educate the public about the different ways that women gain the experience it takes to be political candidates, and how important it is that they know how to run a city and a state, and also the variety of experiences that they bring as potential candidates. In my advocacy work with libraries, I kept harping to librarians that if they wanted to make a difference and they wanted political power, that they needed to find a librarian and run for or him for office. And now that I'm at the Iowa Initiative and I'm working with a lot of women in the healthcare field, I'm beginning to see emerging leaders in women's healthcare as well. Everyone in this room should think about the women that we all know who might